Good day. Today I'm reviewing Tuck Everlasting. I read this book a couple decades ago, although I was an adult, if I remember right, very young adult. And so I was reading it from an adult perspective. There are many things that, and the reason why I point this out is because a lot of themes are going to be addressed and ideas are addressed in the book that might go over your kid's head. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it might be. I think it'd be good if it's a good book to read along with your kid if you can. It takes only a couple hours to read. You could definitely read it in a day if you just sat down and went right through it. The reading level's about 5th grade, 6th grade, and it's. I don't remember anything that you might consider inappropriate. Nothing salacious, but it is a very deep and, for lack of a better term, somber theme, the theme of death, and the fact that we all die. And now, from a Catholic perspective, that's a great thing to remember. We must always remember our death, that death comes for every man. And that's literally a line from a play written 500 years ago called Everyman, and the character of death comes for every man. The Catholic Church has fully embraced this idea of reminding you, you will die. And what happens in the book is the main character is a young girl named Winnie, and she comes across a family that has they drank from a spring of water that's, you might call the fountain of youth. They didn't mean to drink from it. They accidentally drank from it and noticed that they weren't getting older. And they discovered that they were invincible and will never die. To the point where they, you could shoot them and they would not die. They wouldn't even get wounded. And so it's the mom, dad, and the two sons. And the problem is this has caused them to have to isolate themselves because they've realized this is not a good thing. And they don't want others to discover them and then also discover the spring and then also achieve immortality. Now, here's why the book is very important. It'd be interesting. I've never asked an atheist what they would think of this book. But I think it'd be interesting because if you're an atheist, I can't understand why this would be considered a bad thing to live forever, other than just getting bored of life and deciding I just want to end it. And because I'm just, I'm tired or whatever. But for us as from the Catholic perspective, well, the great dilemma is that Winnie is debating with herself, should she drink the water? She wants to. And the family is telling her no. So she has to make this decision. Should I drink the water myself? And we as Catholics would definitely say, no, because then you're going to miss out on the greatest adventure of all time, which is the life after this life, right? So from a Catholic perspective, there's a very clear moral choice here. You do not try to live forever, to try to deny your own death. For one thing, it's impossible. I mean, obviously, that even if there was a spring of eternal life, there's no way that you can't cheat God. God would still, he's the creator of all things, including this fictitious fountain of youth. So he has his ways around it. So it would be trying to steal from God what isn't yours, everlasting life, when all you have to do is just, it's almost similar to in fact, very similar to in The Magician's Nephew. It's similar to the Jadis climbing over the wall into that garden when all she had to do was go through the gate, right? And so drinking from this fountain of youth is like climbing over the garden wall into the Garden of Eden when the gate is right there and you just have to walk through the gate, right? And this is one of the main themes that I think comes out, that it's a great book to read, particularly with, like I said, parents and kids to read together and really discuss the themes of death and life and the fact that we all die and how that's actually not a bad thing. It's actually as St. Francis called it, brother death, that this is a good thing, that if you read the Canticle of the Son, although he does point out, woe unto you if you die in mortal sin, then of course death is not a friend, right? But those who live in a state of grace, death is a friend, is a good friend that will eventually come for us, and if it will take us to our great Father and our great love, the love of all, the source of all love, right? So I would recommend this book. It's got some great excitement. It's fun characters, great writing, very simple story, quaint, cozy. There is actually a musical out there called Tuck Everlasting. My only quibble is they changed the ending slightly. Not the ultimate ending of the story of whether or not she decides, but the conflict of one of the subplots of the conflict is, well, I won't go into it, but they kind of changed and took away some of the exciting, the adventure of the original ending and just kind of made it a quick, and now we're done. And I didn't like that, and the music was pretty good. And actually, it was a lot of fun. And the version I saw was well done and actually had a very beautiful, tender ending that was quite powerful to see. That powerful ending that I liked actually is right in sync with the actual ending of the real book. So, and actually, it's a musical I might even do here at the school one day. Not that you really care as part of the book review, but that'll just kind of give you an indication of how important I think this book is and the story is and the themes it presents. So, highly recommend Tuck Everlasting, and hope you enjoy.